I gotta say, biggest point of relief, at least they gave Highway to the Danger Zone a bit of a break in this one.
Having any fun yet?
Don't get me wrong, it's a good song, but like, after the, I don't know, the fourth or fifth reprisal in the original, it tends to grow a little bit old. So today we have something a little bit different slash new. I'm going to be reviewing, in a way, two films, primarily focusing on the newest one, but I've never seen or reviewed or even talked about the original Top Gun, so what a better time to do it than now. Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun happened to be on Netflix and the Maverick one came out. I had never seen Top Gun in my life. All I knew was there were jets, there was Tom Cruise, there were shirtless men through a lot of the film, and then there was like a volleyball beach montage with, as some people online might argue, homoerotic undertones.
I shouldn't have said that.
I gotta watch it. As an actor, I really enjoyed Tom Cruise and his work. As a person, he's a fucking weirdo. Top Gun, super quick review. Watch it on Netflix. Correction, I got quite drunk and then watched it on Netflix. Not a bad time. I didn't think I was going to like it. I've never been a big fan of jets. Just being like, and like flying around and being like, I like old, like World War whatever, like, but like, plane fighting where it's like all that's cool to me. Evolution of aircraft, sure, but like I don't know, something about like a jet or like a jet fighter, it always seemed kind of just bland and boring to me. The first Top Gun being for what it is in 1986, I mean, I thought it was a decent watch. Really, I could break it down into, okay, a bunch of these hopped up and kind of egotistical kids are going to a not even like a flight school, but like a flight competition of sorts to see who's the best. Just a bunch of like training courses and simulated dogfights. The main character wants to bang his teacher and he gets to get away with it, and the teacher gets the hots for him too, and what becomes a very professionally inappropriate relationship, but it just kind of happens. And then he has a friend, and unfortunately that friend bites it during a training exercise of all things, and then he's like, oh, I can't fly anymore, I can't do it. And then they gotta bring him in they get called in for like an actual dogfight to help out overseas. And he's like, okay, well, I gotta listen to the ghost of my friend, and I'm gonna get back in the game. I'm back in it, so what he would want me to do, and I'm gonna do it. And that's kind of like Top Gun in a very shitty nutshell. Like, it was, like I said, a decent watch. There were funny moments I laughed at. The romance I could buy. The dogfighting for its time, I'm sure, was really cool. There were some cool shots and all that, but I wasn't blown out of the water. I didn't love it. I wasn't like, oh my god, I've slept on Top Gun for so long. But the director, Tony Scott, who went on to do a bunch of movies after this, and I think even before this, he'd been in the game for a while. He did a good job with what there was to work with. I don't really have any complaints. Top Gun is not a movie that I would see myself revisiting anytime soon, unless I'm with some friends and someone else hasn't watched it and wants to do like a double feature or something. There's parts of it that I really enjoyed. It's a fun watch, but it's not gonna crack like my, oh my god, I'm a Top Gun fan or whatever. Now, all these years later, this passion project of Tom Cruise, I mean, which by the way, star of both movies, needs no introduction because it's Tom Cruise. Like, it's a household name. Even if you haven't watched a lot of his films, you at least know who the guy is. But he finally got to like come back to this, because I know he really wanted to make this a thing, make a sequel. He finally gets to like come back to it and make it with all the modern tech experience he has, how film has advanced since then, jet fighters and the military and all these different advancements too. So here we are, and now we have the new Top Gun Maverick. All these years later, there's a new generation of fighter pilots and all this. There's a really dangerous mission that comes up, and they need to basically try to get the best of the best, put them through like a Top Gun training bit of sorts, but instead of just getting a trophy and a handshake at the end of it, these guys are being trained to try to survive this nearly impossible mission. Who do they get to train them? Maverick, who is dangerous. He flies dangerously. With him behind the stick and the throttle or whatever, this just might work. They might be able to pull this off because he could at least try to pass on some wisdom and some skill and some off-the-books strategies and whatnot. Top Gun Maverick, directed by Joseph Kosinski. however you would say it. Kaczynski? What was it again? Kaczynski, my bad, Kaczynski. A decent filmography. Hasn't had a lot of directorial films, but two ones you might know him from. There's Tron Legacy, so he has a history with trying to revitalize an old franchise in terms of giving a movie a legacy title. But for something more recent than that, he did do Oblivion, which if you guys forgot about that movie, I don't blame you. It's a, pretty good, kind of, sort of, stands on its own, serviceable enough sci-fi film that you'll forget after 6 months to a year. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't anything incredibly special, but Tom Cruise was in it, so was, Morgan Freeman, something like that, so it was a thing. Who are the stars of Maverick? Well, obviously you got Tom Cruise, I've already mentioned him. There's a whole cast that surprisingly all get a decent amount of screen time. I don't have time to break down each and every person and their code names and such, but I will say the obvious standout would be Miles Teller. Who's Miles Teller? If you don't recognize his face, everybody kind of knows him, I think primarily as that kid from Whiplash. But Miles Teller's been in a whole heckin' honker of a bunch of films, so I like him. I think he always does great in what he does. And to be the son of Goose, basically, Goose being the friend that bites it in the first Top Gun, and to be the son, and there's clearly some tension there between him and Tom, it's all played very well. Whether the other pilots were nice or assholes, whether the military people were nice or assholes, everybody played their character very well, and by the end of it, and this is jumping into the pros already, I like how every character, in one way or another, by the end of the film, was endearing. Like, to some extent, I was endeared, or they were endearing enough to me, where I cared about just about everybody. I mean, some got more screen time than others, but I'm here for it. For a guy like me, who I watched both films literally in the span of 24 hours, I had never seen the first one. I just watched it, then went out to go see this in 4D because I wanted to, the jets and all this. It was either IMAX or 4D, and I was like, well, 4D, I want a concussion, so we gotta do it this way. Honestly, I had a really good time with it. I like Top Gun Maverick a lot more than I like the first Top Gun. Not to say the first Top Gun is a bad film, I just think Top Gun Maverick has more, it's doing something. There's a goal, there's an actual point to it. I didn't like the concept of, here's Top Gun. What is it? A bunch of pilots go to this thing, almost like a competition to see who's the best of the best. And that's it. And they might learn something along the way. More of a premise, We have the best of the best from all around the nation, and there's a very dangerous mission where we need skilled pilots, and as it stands right now, we can't accomplish this, but if we get the right people together and teach them the right things, perhaps they will pull this off. It made it feel like there were actual stakes. It wasn't just about showboating. By the end of it, kind of what the first Top Gun tried to do, this one does better. It's more about, that sense of camaraderie, that sense of teamwork, that sense of survival, legacy, these actual characters, these people and all that made for a more cohesive narrative experience. I don't think there's a single weak star here. Everybody shines in their own way. You have a bit of a balance there. A few of the returning legacy characters, but a mostly new cast of fresh faces, but everybody feels like they were cast appropriately. They're all fitting. They all have their own characters and personalities, and thanks to both the helmets and their code names, as well as kind of how they came across, as everybody seemed like their own individual person. In the first Top Gun, it was kind of hard for me to follow along sometimes because some of the personalities, aside from the main people, some of the personalities kind of blend with each other, and between that, the direction, the limit of their technology back then, it was harder for me to follow things, especially once we got in the air. But in this one, I was pretty much following everything that was going on, which is a testament to both the tech that we have, the actors that are involved in this movie, and the direction of the director and cinematographer and all that jazz as well. Let me just say this. This film in itself is worth the price of admission, as I would say, for the technical achievements involved in this film. It's like 1917, right? You don't like war movies, I get it. Yet I would still recommend watching 1917 merely for the pure technological merit of it having the appearance of being all one take and one shot, and the way they were able to craft this film so it wasn't just a narrative experience, but also one that you could appreciate how it was created in a similar manner. Even if you don't like fighting pilots and jets and men in the military, the Navy, flight Navy, even if you don't like any of that, I appreciated this film for the sole fact that, as far as I'm aware, all this shit was practical. Granted, some explosions, of course, you have to CGI explosions. You can't just crash a multi-million-dollar jet. But the shots inside cockpits, outside, filming the jets, I mean, my God, there's some impressive shit in this film. I know next to nothing about how jets work, what goes into it and all this. I know some thanks to these movies, but even me, as someone that knows nothing about this, there were some moments where I'm just kind of sitting back and I'm just like, Jesus, like the fact they were able to pull this off and do these maneuvers and get this all on film and make what they made, even if you don't like the story or the love interest and the B story and all this, the third act in itself, when the actual mission is carried out and all that, the third act alone is worth the price of admission. It was a hell of a time. It all worked out really well. I would see it again just for the third act, honestly. Not to say the first two acts are bad. Again, I like it better than the first one, but I'm glad there was more actual jet scenes and combat and some dogfighting. Oh, there's some of the best dogfighting I've seen in a film, and you don't get a lot of dogfighting these days. It was a fun watch, and being in 4D, it wasn't as crazy with the effects, the 4D effects, as I thought it was going to be, but it was serviceable, it was good, it made for a fun time. I enjoyed myself, I laughed, I kind of sort of got teared up here and there. I didn't have huge emotional investment, but I really gave a shit about these characters and what did or did not happen, what could have happened, how the film went down. By the third act, I was legitimately hopeful that the mission worked out, but I had my doubts. They paint it in such a way where you do not know if these people are going to succeed. There is doubt. Most films, it's obvious. You're like, oh, they're gonna find a way to persevere. These people have plot armor. We all see how this is gonna end. They're able to accurately make the dangers and the impossible odds of this mission and the feats of jet play and flying and all this that they have to pull off. They make it seem near insurmountable. They do a very good job of establishing these stakes and giving you a reason to actually be doubtful and wonder, oh my God, they'll probably succeed, but are all of them going to make it home after this? People are loving this film. I really enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I really enjoyed it. I want to give it credit where credit's due. As a film, it accomplishes exactly what it set out to do. It does a very good job of expanding upon the events of the last movie, expanding that universe, giving it a bit of a fresher feel for a more modern audience, and expanding upon just about everything that it established in the first movie. As a sequel, and as a legacy sequel, boom, works great. I think as a film, works great. The only possible complaints, I've heard some complaints about the romance kind of feels a bit forced and shoehorned in. I don't know if I would go that far. I think the romance is a good way to humanize and ground Tom Cruise's character. Sure, it detracts a little bit from the narrative, like a tiny bit, but I think it fits. The only possible complaint I have about the film, and this is both as a film but kind of ties more into my personal enjoyment of it, I wish Act 1 and Act 2 felt as good as Act 3 did. Not to say that it has to be 24/7 jet fight in action. There's a lot of beautiful shots, a lot of good character development. We need to build these characters, establish that camaraderie, have tension, conflict resolution. That all pans out beautifully. But the feeling I had from the third act, I wish I would have had in Act 1 and Act 2. It's a personal issue for me. That's all I can say. I guess if I had to say the first Top Gun, the 1986 Top Gun, I mean, I would give it, I'm feeling nice, I would give it like a high 3 out of 5 in terms of both as a film and my personal enjoyment. I think it's an above average film. It's not a film that I loved, but I'll give it credit where credit's due. First Top Gun, high 3 out of 5. As for Top Gun Maverick, there's very little wrong with this film. I had a good time and really enjoyed myself in the third and final act. I give it a 4. I gotta give it a 4. Top Gun Maverick deserves, from me at the very least, a solid 4 out of 5. Coming from a guy, again, need to establish this, I don't have a bias regarding the first Top Gun. I don't love jets, jet fighters. Even all that being said, as a film, both narratively, technologically, from a cinematography standpoint, acting, my personal enjoyment, all the merits of a film, this film I surprisingly really enjoyed. I would give it, like I said, a solid 4 out of 5. I'd say it's worth a watch. I think if you're a fan of film, I think it's just as a film you'll like it. That's all I gotta say about Top Gun Maverick. Thank you so much for watching my review. I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that are just creaming their pants over this one, so talk about it below if you want. Stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. And goodbye, travelers.